Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Happy Friday. It is a very good day, right? I know, for some people throughout the country, they may be preparing for storms and everything like that. But for me, it's a good morning. As always, I'll give people time to come in and then I'll go into what I'm going to talk about. Good morning, whoever's coming in. Good morning. So, as always, I say good morning. And today I just want to talk about, you know, it's just a little unusual for me because I don't usually pick a topic, but for a lot of people, the Cat Williams Shannon Sharp interview is a hot topic. But for me, it's a little bit different, right? I'm going to talk about it not because of who he was talking about or anything like that, but I was actually paying attention to what he was saying. I don't know if he was lying, for full disclosure. I don't know if he's lying or telling the truth. That's not in my realm of understanding. I may have an opinion about it, but that's not what I want to talk about. I just want to talk about how much he was trying to emphasize something that a lot of people may or may not have seen, right? I want to talk about how he was talking about, what he was going through and what he was doing. But I'm going to try to apply it to everyday life, right? He was saying how much of a competitor he is, right? And and I'll use it in this display, right? For YouTube, there's a lot of people that's in competition. I don't know if it's a winning formula for them or anything to that nature. All I'm here to, just I'm not competing with anybody, right? I believe I'm doing the right thing in what I'm doing. So for me, a competition is not a virtue for me. Like, let me give you an example, right? I know, shout out to Tough Love, that's my cousin, right? But shout out to him. I knew he had planned to do a live, so I was gonna wait, but he pushed it back. So I just, you know, not to compete with him. I'm not competing or not to steal from, not to say steal, but not to detract any of his views or anything like that. I just wanted to put my statement out before anybody else did. I'm not in competition with anybody. I believe, you know, I was I was led to do what I'm doing because, it was an it was encouraging for somebody, and people suggested that I would go out there and give some encouraging words or take some views of certain things. So that's what I do. Like everybody that I subscribe to, I try my best not to interrupt their flow or get in their way. So I normally try to plan around them, not because, like I said, I'm trying to compete with them, but I want to support them. I want to, hit their like buttons and give opinions if I could, or make a statement or whatever the case. That's what I do, right? That's my normal thing. So, that's one of the things that I got from the interview of Cat Williams and Shannon Sharpe. I also heard him say that, it's God's side or the other side. That's pretty much how we live our lives, right? We know we can't serve two masters. We know that, we can either love the one or dislike the other. I don't want to say hate, because hate is a strong word, even though there's a lot of people that surround us or be in our vicinity with that strong hatred of someone. But I know I can't serve two masters. Excuse me. And I don't think nobody can, because you can't waver. You In life, we have to pick sides. And that's pretty much what he was trying to say in the interview. But to apply that to our everyday life, we have to choose what we want to do. Either we want to do the right thing in life, or we want to do the wrong thing in life. Either we're gonna be good all the time, or we're gonna be bad all the time. Yes, we will fall short. Yes, we may slip up, but for the most part, we either striving for good or we striving for evil, or not evil, but bad, conflict, chaos, turmoil, or are we striving for the things that we need to go with in our everyday life? I just think that, you know, with those type of people, things flow downstream. And I believe that it can affect us one way or another. So since it can do that, we might as well try to apply these things into our lives. So we have to be careful of what we intake, right? Because if we intake negative attributes, if we take in chaos, if we take in depression, if we take in anxiety, if we take in lust, if we take in all of these things can overtake us, and then it will spew out of our pores to speak, so to speak. In other words, if we do all those things, we'll start to give it out. People will start to sense it. Some people could smell it, not in the natural form of smell, but people can like, oh my God, he's or she is doing the most, right? And we can't allow those type of attributes to overtake us, because if we allow it to overtake us, we're not who we're supposed to be in this life, right? And then that point leads into, we will be giving the enemy all of the powers that he need to become our God, our master, our ruler, right? Because we know that Satan can't create anything. He can't even create the illusion. That's why he'll twist and turn your words into a half truth, into something that'll sound good to our natural ear, but it will fight our spiritual ear, right? For example, when he told Eve, listen, you will not die. He did not literally, he understood, he understood exactly what he was saying. He understood that he did not mean a natural death, like soon as you bite it, you're gonna die. But something in us died, right? That goodness, that all that spirituality died. So we became flesh, so to speak. In other words, once we bit the fruit, all of our virtue was gone. That's, to me, that's when we gained free will and could make the decisions for ourselves. And so, and in that aspect, we turned everything over to the enemy because we allowed them to penetrate us, and just his words allowed us to be penetrated. That's why we have to be careful of who we listen to all the time. That's why we got to be careful of what we're listening to all the time, because if we intake it enough, it will come right out of us and it won't be a good attribute. That's why some people say, study the word, sharp iron sharpens iron, so on and so forth with that nature. And I believe that, but iron can sharpen iron in a negative aspect as well. That's why you have to choose who you're going to serve. You have to be careful what you display, because what you display, as Tough Love would say, will be a content of your character. So if you just talking about, that person over there or that person over there or that person in a negative aspect, somebody gonna label you a troublemaker, a poop starter. Y'all know what it is, a shit starter. Excuse my language. A person that's not with peace, but would rather have chaos amongst them than peace, right? So we have to be careful of exactly what we intake, right? And then we definitely got to make sure we make sure that what we let out is not something that can harm someone, but better yet, help somebody, right? And going on with what I was learning, I actually took notes because it was very interesting how he was talking he was trying to talk in a humble manner. I don't know if everybody picked up on that, right? So he was saying, that anything that takes over your free will is not of God. And, I actually agree with that, right? What does that mean, right? If you allow something to continue to influence you into your free will, it is not your will. It's not, you're not making that call yourself. An influencer, like right now on YouTube, there's a lot of people that, that create content, but they're also called influencers, right? So if you have people, I know they got people that, have beef sectors, and I know that they got places to where people talk about peace. So those who you follow, they have an influence on your mind and your soul and your body, and it may penetrate into your everyday life, right? So as long as I'm going to be doing this, I have to understand that my words may influence somebody, that my words could make somebody better or make somebody worse. Good morning, Cheeky. Right? So I have to understand that I could affect somebody's free will. Right? If I sit up here and say, yo, listen, let's trash this person out. Or I don't like the fact that somebody turned around and mock this person and go along with the mockery, right? That means I'm with that. And me being an influencer on YouTube, it may lead somebody to go ahead and follow me and talk about some nonsense. Or on the other side, like I normally do, I talk about improving ourselves. improving me and improve. How could we improve me and everybody else that listens to me? That's an influence that I want to display. So we all have free will. My free will is to try to influence somebody. Like how can we love somebody without hurting them? Or how could we gain somebody's trust? Or how could we better ourselves in everyday life? If that's what I'm talking about, I'm trying to influence the people that, hey, we need to improve or better ourselves instead of anything else. So we have to be careful of what we're saying on this platform, everyday life, so on and so forth, because we can influence people. Like most of us with children, we influence our kids every day. So we have to be a beacon of light for a reason, because if our kids sit there and hear us cuss all day, their words are going to be cuss words all day. So we're influencers. So we have to be careful of what we display and what we intake and give out, because there's people around us each and every day that we influence, whether it's in real life, on this platform, or any other social media platform. We are influencers because somebody is listening to us. Like right now, there's people listening to my voice right now. And I could say anything. I could say, yo, listen, let's go out there and turn some cars over because we ain't getting our way. Some people may want to do that. Other people might say, well, that ain't going to make no sense. That's not constructive. We're not getting anything done. But the point of the point of the statement was, I could be an influencer. I am an influencer as somebody is listening to me, whether it's 1,000 people, one person, whoever. You can be an influencer. So we have to be careful of what we intake and let out on our everyday lives, because at the end of the day, someone is listening to us. And also we have to be confident and not delusional of what's going on, right? That's what Cat Williams said. Cat Williams said to be confident and not delusional is a skill. What did he mean by that? What I took from it is that if you're confident with yourself, don't get the big head, because if you go any further than confident, you'll become arrogant. And if you're arrogant, can't nobody tell you nothing. Right? So you have to really understand that, there's nothing wrong with confidence, but anything beyond that, it'll harm you. It'll hinder you more than it will help you, because your arrogance is going to turn people off against you. They won't look at you as a person of confidence. People might walk around and say, yo, your shit stink. Excuse my language again. Because you're not confident anymore, you're arrogant. So you have to understand there's a fine line in life that we must walk each and every day, because there's somebody, watching us. Like we're not in a Hollywood stature, but everyday people are still being watched. Everyday people still being observed. A school teacher still being observed by students. A coworker is observing you at work. A driver might be driving by you, look at you and trying to observe what you're doing, right? We're being watched every day. So we have to be careful of what we're doing, because any given second, somebody will pick up whatever you're doing and they may use it against you, or they may say you're doing the right thing, right? And we also have to understand that, because people are watching us, that we need to do the right things. Whatever the right thing is for you, right? It's not about anything else but doing the right thing. Because like I said, on this platform, I'm an influencer. So now I have to be careful of what I say. I got to be careful of what I display. If I'm talking about, uplifting or changing or improving things, I can't regress. I can't show any signs of regression, even though there may be things that'll push me to the limit or trigger me or anything of that nature. I have to be careful. It doesn't mean that I'm perfect. I've never said that. Nobody is perfect. We all understand perfection is something that we strive for, but we may never achieve, or we should not, or we can achieve. But the striving for it should be most of our goals, right? And that might sound crazy because you say, well, how are we gonna get to why would we strive for something that we can never achieve? And my answer would be because if we don't, we will be living in chaos, because even though we have free will to do it, even though that it may not be reachable, we should still do it. Like when people, for example, when people say reach for the stars, that's a term, correct? So we are reaching for the stars. Why are we doing that if we know good and well we can't reach for the stars? But nobody never says nothing about that. So striving for perfection should be the same thing. TC, good morning. It should be this. It's in the same line. So we have to understand that we need to have our confidence in order to go forward with it, to strive for it, to go ahead and put our best foot forward into doing so, right? Like I said, for those that's just coming in, I'm just reiterating our intake, but it's pretty much based off of the Cat Williams Shannon Sharpe interview, right? And like I was telling people, I'm not having the conversation about whether he's right or wrong. I'm not having that conversation about who he's talking about. I'm talking about what he said around the thing, because I've noticed that, for example, he was talking about how he was raised a Jehovah Witness and he was trying to seek understandings and answers from a higher power, right? He said he went to the mosque. He's a good friend of Louis Farrakhan. He went to a Baptist church. See, what we got to understand is those people that has the money that think, or for those that think that money is the answer, it is cold out there, y'all. It's not. Money doesn't do nothing but enhance what you already have, right? So if you're gonna be an a-hole, you're gonna be an a-hole with money. It doesn't hide it. You become more of an a-hole. If you're humble with your money, if you're humble, you'll be humble with money. He also goes on to say that he paid for Melba Moore's star on a Hollywood Walk of Fame, right? For whatever reason. He tried to make it seem like he was a humble person, that God was in him, that he's doing things out of meekness and humbleness. And I apply for that every day, because I understand that humbleness and meekness is a gift that everyone should have, even those that you don't think deserve it. You gotta give them grace, right? You gotta be understanding that they may not have meant what they said, and if they did, we gotta brush it off, because if it's a lie, we know who we are in life, right? Like, people are out here talking about us for whatever reason. People are out there talking about people for whatever reason, and mocking them and making jokes about them, or whatever the case may be. Some people get off on that and not understand, or may not care, that that's hurtful to somebody. I'm not here to hurt somebody. I'm not here for people to feel like they can't come to this channel and find peace, I want people to understand, like, listen, what you display here is going to be received with blessings and warmness. And if somebody wants to bring up a problem, they should be comfortable and safe to do so without being mocked or ridiculed or anything of that nature. That's what humbleness do to you. It allows you to open your arms and say, if you need a virtual hug, in this case, let's embrace. If you need a virtual ear to talk to, here it is. Have the ear. Talk what you have to talk. If we need prayer, I have no problem praying for you and with you. Those are the things that I want to let out, because that's something that I haven't taken in my life. And he was, like I said, he was going on. He was, his IQ. He'd been reading books forever. He did what he had to do. In other words, he had to struggle to get to where he is. We struggle every day. So let's I'm going to apply it into our everyday life. We struggle every day. We go on out there. We try to make ends meet. We go on out there. We try to pay these bills for the home, apartments, whatever, lights, water, electric. If we got cars, some of us got car notes. We got to pay for gas. We struggle every day. But the fight within us, it has to be understood that it's not for malice reasons. We have to fight to win. He had to fight to win. He had to struggle to win. He said he was homeless as a teenager for whatever. His home life wasn't what it was, so he left. I'm pretty sure a lot of us could relate to it, right? I know I can, because my home life wasn't great, because I had no structure. Let's say that. My parents were gone before I was 18. So I understand what it's like to go on out there to find yourself, or think you're going to find yourself, and find chaos and mayhem all around you. But I had to intake that to understand that this ain't the way for me. Right? You do things to say, all right, instead of learning from other people, some of us got to learn through our own experiences. Urban, good morning. So we have to understand that life is always going to have bumps and bruises, but what we learn from it, what we intake from it, is always going to be the key to what comes out of us. If all we know is pain, we're gonna show pain, and we're gonna distribute pain, because misery loves company. We shouldn't be doing all of that. We shouldn't be living life like that, because at the end of the day, first of all, it's not constructive. Second of all, nobody wants to be known as a disruptor, as a painful person that only wants to distribute pain. A lot of people want to have, peace in life. In relationships, you want to come home to a peaceful environment. Nobody wants to come home from work, a chaotic scene, to come home to another chaotic scene. Some people want balance. Some people want one thing more than the other. It's your decision to find out what is it that you truly want. On this channel, on this platform, I want to be the best help that I can be. I want to be the best person that I could be, which would be, for me, who I am. I'm more of a giver than a taker. I'm more of a person that is willing to help than hinder. I'll tell people all the time, if I'm not helping you, let me remove myself from your situation, so that way you can be getting the help that you need, right? So if that's what I need to do for people to see me for who I am, I have to display it. I have to let out what's in me. And that's what we need to do each and every day. right? And it's just a lot. And I get it. The way of the world is not what we want, right? There's a lot of people that's takers. There's a lot of people that'll drain you and suck you dry as far as your energy. And there's a lot of people that don't pour into people. I don't want to be that person because there's enough people out there doing that. So I would rather be the person say, you know what, CC, you're going to have a good day. Urban, you're going to have a good day. Cheeky, your day is going to be outstanding. There's enough people say, well, you going into this endless deadbeat job, or you going out there to work for the man, or you're going out there to do whatever. Nah, I don't want to speak death into somebody. I want to speak life. I want people to be the independent person that can go out there and start their own industry. That, CC wants to, if CC want to go out there and become a knitter of whatever, let her start her business that way. Be that person that you want to be. I want to speak life into you. You can do it, CC. You could do it, Cheeky. You could do it, Urban. You could do it, whoever's in the background. You can do it, whoever's catching the replay. I want you to intake the positive and get rid of all that negative aspect in your life. Excrete it. Excuse me, right? Excrete it. Pour it in the toilet. Throw it in the sea of forgetfulness. However you get rid of it, get rid of it. But you got to be careful of how you let it out. You got to be careful of when you let it out, because you're going to be a topic. If I say something crazy, I'm going to be a topic. So why not say something good that I could be a topic? You can do it, the word. Absolutely. The word is a perfect example. He started, his channel, and now he's at a place that a lot of people didn't think he could get to. He probably doubted himself, but because of his intake, he got to extraordinary levels to where people have no choice but to now put respect on his name, right? Urban is the same way. Cheeky is the same way. I want to be the same way. I want to do things to where, I don't care what y'all talk about. He's consistent with what he says. He's consistent with what he's doing. How people try to be slick to a can of oil, but you ain't got to lie to kick it. Be yourself. Just understand what you give out is what people going to give back to you. So if you give warm embraces, you're going to get a warm embrace back. If you give out chaos, that's what you're going to get back, because that's what people are going to give you, because that's what they believe you want. So let's just show what we want. Show them that, I'm not here for the ruckus. I'm here to help. I'm here to increase somebody's belief in themselves. I'm here to improve on myself at the same time, because what I'm giving out, I'm expecting to get back. You reap what you sow. If you believe that, you understand that you shouldn't give out mess and think you're going to get a blessing out of it. So that's the thing, right? We have to be careful of what's going on. We got to be careful of what we intake, because it could be the very thing we let out. We have to understand that thing. You understand what I'm saying? So, that interview for me, like, it's so much, like he was talking so much that I wasn't even paying attention to who he was talking about a lot of the time, because he was talking about things like he gives out $300,000. Like if he makes $300,000, he gives back 30,000 to whatever town he's in. I don't know if it's true, but if in reality, that's called a tithe. He's tithing into the community. Now we already know there's people that has a giant storehouse, and there's nothing to tithe from them, because it's in their jets, it's in their cars, it's in their mansions, right? We understand that. So I'm listening to the person. I'm listening to find the good in what he's saying and not the negative. I don't care who he's talking about. I don't care what I'm trying to understand what he did. He said he helped. He didn't know he didn't believe he was helping the Migos out. But he did it anyway. He just did it for Melba Moore. And I'm not talking about it because it's a financial thing. I'm talking about it because it's a kind gesture. That's what we're supposed to be doing. First of all, we ain't got money to just donate like that. I'm talking about us regular everyday people. So we're not gonna just throw our money away. But what we can do, Meet, good morning. What we can do, we can donate, we can tithe our time. If somebody needs somebody to talk to, I'm here for you. If you need a suggestion, I'm here for you. Right? That's what we need to do, especially on this platform. There's too much chaos on this platform. But we can donate our time. That's tithing, whether we understand it or not. It may not be money, it may not be a financial gain, but somebody could be listening to us right now and say, I understand what you're saying. I need your help. And they may ask for your ear for them to vent. Not everybody can do that because everybody don't understand it. Right? But that's what I'm getting from that conversation. He's sitting there talking about what he's done for other people. That's great, but I hope he's not bragging about it, because if he's bragging about it, then that's not doing it with humbleness, right? Sometimes you got to do things in good gesture and not want the reward, the fame. Oh, well, I gave somebody $1,000 because I want to be known to give that. No, you do it out of you give gladly. You give gladly, meaning you don't do it for fame. You did it because it was the right thing for you to do. So here I am giving my time to anybody that needs it because I'm doing it gladly, because I would want somebody to do it for me. There's no reward in it. The only reward in it is that you're helping somebody. That should be the great reward, right? Because somebody's always in a worse position than you are. So we should be doing things to allow encouragement, to allow somebody to say, hey, I can actually do it. Somebody cared about me just enough to say, I'm here for you. We know about how many times Cat has been arrested, but not what he's done to help people. That's how it goes. Good morning, atmosphere, but that is how it goes, because we're so focused on the negative side of things and not look at the positive side. Now, let's just say let's just say that he did do all of those things, right? Let's say he did help Melba Moore get, he paid for her thing. First of all, why are we even paying to have things on the street? If our accolades is worth it, it should be there regardless. But we know what rules the world right now: money. We know that we got to pay things, so we go crazy striving and doing what we need to do for it. Some people are giving their souls for it. That's what he was saying. In other words, there's people turning money into God. They're idols. That's what they're doing. That's what he was trying to display. Whether it's true or not, it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, for us regular people, we can't afford to get on a high horse. We can't afford it because we have to do too much every day to keep our mind sane. Because that boss could be talking to you sideways. You want to punch him in his face. But understanding that, I gotta be humble, because if I punch this man in his face, it affects my household. If I talk to him recklessly, it affects my household. It ain't because they deserve grace. We give grace because we need the grace in return. So we gotta understand that if we're gonna do things, in decency and order, we have to get there first. We have to find a way. I can't allow this person to keep talking to me like that. I want to pull them to the side and have a conversation, but I can't afford to lose the job. See, sometimes that how people dangle horses. I mean, a carrot in front of the horse or whatever to go forward. People do that. They try to bait you into situations, but we have to be careful of what we intake and understand that, that's not going to work with me. I understand my assignment. I know I need to go forward. I need to go to where I need to go to provide for me and whoever else is in my life. But that don't mean give your soul to the enemy. We can't keep giving them the powers that they don't deserve. We got to give ourselves grace because we deserve it. Because if we don't do it, we're going to be in a world of trouble. So I just believe that, it's just crazy how much, right? How much we got to do to walk the straight and narrow. But at the end of the day, it's worth it. At the end of the day, you can say, you know what? I ain't going to get caught up 19 times. I'm not going to get shot up at because I am who I am. I'm going to stay out the way. That's the best way to live life. Stay out the way. Good deeds, the word said good deeds can have a bigger impact. And it should. But because the way people prioritize money, double speak, good morning. The way people prioritize money, your good could be evil spoken of for that mighty dollar. Right? So if you go that's like somebody going out there in the streets. Y'all people, let's just be real. We know people that's out there that slang them things, right? They thought they was doing something by making that quick money, but not even understanding, you're influencing your hood. You turning your hood into a ghost town. You turning it into a drugville. But we thinking we're doing the right thing because we're getting that money. And then we're not even doing nothing with that money. We're gonna go get a pair of Jordans, or we're gonna go smoke some weed. Like, do we understand that there's people out there hustling to get high? How crazy is that? You got a whole family in the background, but you just hustling to roll up. That's what we intake from that. There's people out there doing stupid stuff and giving out stupid stuff at the same time. That can't be us. If we're gonna be a change, the change got to start with us. So we got to change our mindset. I'm not gonna go out there and sling that rock. Let me go on to this after school program and help these kids with their reading and their writing and their homework and their education. If you feel that good about yourself, you can go ahead and say, listen, kids, do you guys know how to save? This is what happens if you should save. If you save, we can be the difference. If we intake that, we should be able to give that back. Do we even how many people do they even do that in their own homes? We don't know. We don't. But what we can do is we can teach our kids that. What we can do is we can show our kids what happens when you ain't in front of the TV all day watching, Peppa Pig for your kids, or if we over there watching beef sectors on YouTube. We can be the difference if that's what we want. The question is that what you want to do? Is that how you want to be known? What you intake is what you're going to let out. If you sow a good seed, you should bear good fruit. If you plant a seed on thorny grounds, you're going to get thorny weeds. That's what's going to happen. And we all know that even when you plant on fertile ground, weeds is going to come and try to choke you out. So you got to protect yourself. You got to understand. You got to snip it. Get your lawnmower, cut it down. Some people may use whatever they use, fertilizer, weed, whatever it is. But the goal is for us to be good fruit. So we have to do the things that we need to do. And I found it very interesting that while he was sitting there talking about what he was talking about, he found a way to talk about the measures of God. That's what I got out of the interview. I didn't care what he said about Kevin Hart, Ricky Smiley, or whoever else he was. I didn't care. I was just listening to what he was saying. Do you like people don't understand that, yo, to be good is hard. To do the right thing is hard. That was his point. To do the right thing was hard. He talking about how somebody had to shave themselves all for the love of money, and he didn't do it. He chose not to do it. Those are everyday decisions for each and every one of us. It may not be about money. It may just be about your everyday life. Do you want to be good or do you want to be bad? That's an everyday decision for everybody in this chat. Everybody that listens to it on a replay. That's an everyday decision. What do you want to do? I get it. We live in a world where finances rule. I do. I get it. But is it worth losing your soul? Is it worth losing you? That was his point of that conversation. I'm not giving up myself for no money, right? I know down the line that there may be possibly a time where I will put a cash app up. But that's not right now, because right now I want people to understand it's not about that. It's about me trying to be as positive as I can be. You can explain that. Chiki said you can explain that to some people, but they don't listen. Help is not always received. Just do the best that you can to help others that will listen. And that's my point, right? I'm not here to save the world, right? They tell you to pray for everybody, right? But in your heart of hearts, you know that if you pray for them, people might not even want to receive the prayer. And a lot of times, that's why they don't get the blessing, because they didn't want to receive the prayer in the first place. So we have to understand we can only do, we just pour into the atmosphere. No shot at your atmosphere. We give out to words, we give words life. We throw it out there in the atmosphere. We want to be prosperous. Now, if somebody catches it and understand that prosperity does not mean money, that abundance doesn't mean money all the time. You can be having abundance of peace. You can have an abundance of joy. You can have an abundance of love. That's not money, but you're rich in it. You can be rich in it. But because we live in the way of the world, abundance means money. Riches means money. No, it don't mean that. My abundance for you guys is to say, you know what? I'm here for you. If you need to talk, I'm here for you. If I have anything to give as far as advice, you can have it. If it works for you, it works for you. If it doesn't, chuck it away. But not everybody understands that, right? That's why I tell people, be careful with what you listen to, right? If you intake goodness, that's what you should be giving out. If you intake peace, that's what you should be giving out. Joy, that's what you should be giving out. Why are you talking like this and it's raining? Because I'm gonna find the best out of a bad situation. If we can make the best out of a bad situation, we're not gonna focus on the bad situation. There's a reason why people go out there and help other people. Some of us may be running from our own downfalls or our problems, but we get the joy out of helping somebody out of theirs. So we gotta really understand that, yo, whatever we do, we gotta intake it to give out. And If somebody pours into me, what good is it? What good is it to have wisdom and you keep it to yourself? What good is it to have joy and you keep it to yourself? What good is it to love but only have it for yourself? You have to let that out. So your intake has to be going out for the most part. We don't give it all away, but we give enough so somebody can say, yo, I receive it. I feel it. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, double speak. I appreciate you, atmosphere. I appreciate you, Meek, or whoever else. Like, that's what it's for. So we have to be careful of what we intake. Make sure that it's not harmful for me to give it back to you. Just like a blessing. The blessing, if you receive a blessing, right? You got to understand that the blessing for you. You try to blessing yourself. And then if you want to give it out, you give it out. That's what it's all about. That's what it's for. So in closing, let me just, as I appreciate everybody here, and I appreciate that you guys took the time, understand that I receive it. I receive it because you didn't have to be here. There's other people on lives right now, but you blessed me by listening to me. So all I can do is hope that I can be a blessing and give out something that is useful to you. Because while I intake your time, I hope I release something that you can use in your everyday life or gets you through the day or whatever. Something positive comes out of it, out of you taking the time for me. So be careful of your intake and make sure that what you let out is something good for someone to receive and not a distraction for anybody else. As always, I thank you guys for taking your time to listen to me. I pray that, this is your Friday and that you can have a relaxing weekend, spend it with your loved ones, be a blessing to those that are around you, and receive your blessings. With that being said, everybody, I'll catch y'all on the next one. I'm out.